it. Now, before I introduce our next speaker, I'm going to share a little video clip to highlight some of the biodiversity of Northeast India. So I'm going to share this little video clip, and then I'm going to introduce our speaker, and we'll be off to the races. So here we go. There's the one, and on. All right, that is absolutely stunning. Let's bring in our speaker. I'm going to introduce Seno Tsuhah. She is a teacher, farmer, and Indigenous woman rights activist and belongs to the Shakesang tribe of Nagaland, India. She has been working with the Northeast Network for over 20 years on issues of gender, justice, food sovereignty, and sustainable development. Her engagement with ecological issues ranges from community mobilizing and organizing, education, capacity building, and policy advocacy on restoring Indigenous food and farming systems, setting up women-led community seed banks, amplifying the stories and voices of Indigenous communities, women in particular, through participatory videos. So I'm going to bring her in with us now. Hey, Seno, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's been such an amazing day. We started this morning at 8 o'clock Eastern. It's now 10:30 p.m. Eastern. We have shared so many stories. We've moved all over the world, across continents, to so many different countries. It's been so great.
I'm sure it is a great day, and I was also listening to some of the talks, and it's amazing to know the wonderful work, the small work in different parts of the globe. And I have to say that it's been a long day for you all.
It's been a long day, but it's been a good day. So we're excited to hear a little bit more about what you're working on. I know that you have a presentation to share with us, so we're going to cross our fingers that it shares nice and easy for us.
Yes. So do I come in now?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Where do I come in?
So if you hit down at the bottom in the middle, if you hit the share.
Yes.
Yeah, and then the first option for share screen. And then it's going to give you the options. You want the entire screen, the very first one. Click the little picture of your screen, and then click the share button. Let me know if you see anything strange or get a strange message, because I do have a backup copy of the presentation. We can always play it on my end if it doesn't cooperate with us today.
Yes, I will do.
There we go. It's coming up.
Okay, got it. Is it coming or?
Yeah, I see the share screen. I think you just have to click on the I think it's a PowerPoint. If you just click on the PowerPoint to bring it up to the front, because right now I see this the StreamYard screen. You just have to bring your presentation to the front. There we. Oh, I see your. Yep. Perfect. Let's go full screen. And Seno, we are in business.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So thank you, Joe, and the whole team for inviting us, the Northeast Network, to this Global Biodiversity Festival. In fact, I have to call up to confirm Joe whether the work that I do and also the kind of, like the presentation, the talk that I would like to share is apt for the event. Joe was kind enough to say that you fit in perfect, and here I am. So I am Seno Tsuhah from Chakasan tribe in Nagaland, and I am I work with Northeast Network, a women's rights organization, and today I would like to share about indigenous food and farming systems. You have seen about, like our small video clip. We are in the northeastern region of India, and we are 8 states together. So a little bit of what you have seen in the video before my introduction. That's that's the biodiversity, the rich biodiversity that has been documented by the Green Hub Fellows, the young people from the region who have been fellows in the Green Hub, an initiation of Northeast Network and Dusty Food Production, which documents wildlife biodiversity and then takes back into the community for action, conservation action, for sustainable livelihood. So that's a little capture of the biodiversity of the Northeast India. It is rich, one of the biodiversity hotspot of the world, and also have 65% of India's biodiversity. It is also ethnic, culturally diverse region. We have in more than 200 ethnic groups in the region, and also very strategically located because it shares external frontiers with other countries like for centuries together. But this very ecosystem biodiversity is now threatened because of various factors, development induced you know degradation, climate change, you know different reasons. I am from Nagaland, and it's a small state in the northeast region with 1.9 million, and is agriculture, and the agriculture practice that we practice is junk and terrace cultivation, and also homestead gardens. I would like to share a little bit of how like the indigenous food and farming system evolved in my community. It is ecological agriculture practice and works with nature. It is also it is also like takes cares of the well-being of the land, of the living beings in the land and the people, and also talks about like the well-being of the community, where food sovereignty is the backbone, that we decide what we grow, what is good for the land, what is good for the people. And the traditional knowledge system is like a living knowledge system that has been passed by our foreparents, and that has been still with the community, there is also this practice which is all about resilience, because it's agrobiodiversity. It is ecological, and thus, there is this resilience. I have also, wanting to emphasize why it is important to sustain or to strengthen indigenous food and farming system. It's not only, for our physical needs. Of course, definitely it gives us food and nutrition, but it has also spiritual, cultural, social, and economic and political connotations attached to the food and farming systems. When we talk about the culture, social and cultural life of our people, all our festivals evolves around agriculture calendar. All our social gatherings are marked with the traditional cuisines, food that bonds, that brings people together, that is celebrated, that is also shared. So this is a way of life, I should say, and it is important to uh, sustain it, to strengthen it, when globalization has hit us in a very massive way, whether it is remote or urban areas, rural or urban areas. It has impacted the way local communities produce and consume food. The many traditional local varieties have been uh, uh, disappeared or decreased. And when we look at the source of our food comes from our jung fields, our uh, terrace fields, our homestead gardens, and this is our food basket, and also from the forest, our food basket. I have a little bit of, like a survey that has been done by my colleagues, where we try to survey the wild forest foods in our village, and we could find, edible fruits, 50 types of edible fruits, 52 types of vegetables, which is more than this. I think the survey is have to go more. Edible wildflowers, edible mushrooms, and like these are all part of micronutrient rich species that is part of our diet, and the food comes from the forest. And thus, when it comes to food, we have to remember biodiversity. Biodiversity is our source of life. I would like to take you through, because the kind of work why Northeast Network is emphasizing on the natural resource management and sustainable livelihoods, and especially today I will be sharing on the indigenous food and farming system. When people started changing the land use pattern, the consumption and production, particularly food, when people started moving away from the ecological agriculture towards monoculture, towards plantation, here is a concern where even in northeast region, a lot of development projects, which is more of like tilted towards profit maximization, has impacted the local communities, have also forced the local communities to migrate to other places, thus making people more vulnerable to poverty, health, and and the very survival. So I would like to share a little bit of Northeast Network. We are a women's organization. We have completed 27 years, and we work from 3 states of the region, Assam, Meghalaya, and Nagaland. And we work on the theme around gender-based discrimination, violence against women, governance and state accountability, natural resource management, and livelihood. I would like to share some of the initiatives, the activities, the photos that you see are more of from the Nagaland state, where Northeast Network has initiated different programs with rural communities, particularly women. And here when we look at the different initiatives that we started to engage with rural communities with the aim to restore or revive or to strengthen the indigenous food and farming system is very clear, because we know that a lot of our global issues, whether it is poverty, whether it is health, whether it is climate crisis, it is because of the way that we produce, we consume. The world, the current food system, if we look at the current food system, the modern agriculture, it is pushing the land into, like a dead land because of the external inputs, using chemicals, pesticides that pollutes the land and finally kills the land, the very microorganisms that are part of the living earth. And so this is why, like the small work that we do is, when we look at the the communities, we see that women are the key player. Women are knowledgeable, that the custodian knowledge holders of the farmlands, of the healing systems, of the seeds. And here is where we also try to see that we gather these resources, this social capital, and to make sure that women's contribution is recognized, women's contribution is acknowledged, and women's leadership and ability to combat, the current global crisis, starting from our own local communities, is recognized and women given a space for voicing their concerns and also being part of the decision making. So this is one area where we do have programs around, like bringing in, mobilizing communities together, women farmers, community leaders together, and discuss about the current issues that they are facing, and also the kind of resources, the kind of coping mechanisms that they have. So a lot of, like meetings, training programs, collectivizing the vendors, the farmers, that's a part of, like our strategies that Northeast Network uses. We also believe that, the current problem, if we look at the system, if we look at the young people, there is a total disconnect between their environment. There is a total disconnect between the agriculture and young people. Young people doesn't really want to go and farm. Young people doesn't really know, especially with children and young people in the urban areas, they really don't know the journey of the seed that goes to the farmland and the grain that comes back to the plate. So, a lot of our programs are also engaged. Our engagement with young people are around, uh, taking them or introducing them to biodiversity, introducing them to ecology, within the environment, within the ecosystem, what are the life supporting, like plants, trees, animals. So, we at Northeast Network Nagaland, we have run a very interesting program some years back on education, conservation education, where, children are taught how to document, herbal medicines, birds, pollinators like butterflies. In fact, like the Eco Club that we work with has documented 216 butterfly species in our village, in Chizami village, where we are based, and also documented a lot of other species. And, creating in them enthusiastic young conservationist, I should say. We also have another program where we also run a NAN farm school, which is open to the urban youths, where they come down to our Chizami village and stay for a week or more, and then learn about the farming, indigenous food and farming system, understanding the seeds, understanding the diversity of, taking them for practical farm work in the field along with the custodian knowledge holders. And this has also breached, like a gap between the intergenerations, the elderly custodian knowledge holders interacting with them, and the children going out to the field, going for biodiversity walk with them, and to learn about the ecology, the diversity, the edible herbs, and also to understand, like the community knowledge systems, how water is shared amongst the community people, how resources are shared. So this is one of the programs that we uh, work on, and we believe that year by year we could see more and more change, and it will definitely have these young people, love their environment, love the kind of local food that comes from the hills or from the plains, but without any pollution. So this is one program. We also have this cuisines competition, traditional cuisines, so that it gives the young people to go and forage in the field, in the wild, in the forest, and then to present it. And this is all a part of cross learning, and it's also fun, I should say. Agrobiodiversity for food, nutrition, livelihood, fodder, and ecological security. We work with women farmers a lot. And we do promote at Northeast Network when we are looking at the indigenous food and farming systems. We have to look back at the kind of resources, the genetic diversity that the farmers grow. And this is where, like the women farmers started, like even sharing the seeds that have been lost from their farmland. They have been sharing knowledge systems, the knowledge about different grains. And, like these women are, I should say, they are the ones who are now trying to revive back, now trying to bring back more and more indigenous crops, and the crops that are resilient, the crops that are, that are also climate compliant, the crops that can withstand heat. And it's a very beautiful, work that when we go to the communities, when we, gather them around a fireplace and discuss about what are the problems in the food plate that is being cooked and eaten in their hut. There are lots of concerns that the women share, and particularly climate crisis. And they say that even like during COVID times, we could even see that the pandemic time, these rural women seems to be the strongest, because they said that when we offered relief, they said that, oh, we have food to eat. You all provide that food to other people in need. And should there be any help needed, we can forage in the community forest, the food, and then we can share with others. And this, they have done it. So what we're trying to do is that we try to encourage, promote, strengthen the indigenous food and farming system, which is ecological, which is also based on solidarity economy. We share with each other, and which is also, resilient in times of crisis. So this is one work that we do through different programs, training, film screenings, cross-cultural learnings, biodiversity festival. And in fact, like I have been even like thinking when I am to participate in this virtual meeting, I was just like thinking of the last biodiversity festival that we had in our village, the 13th edition of the biodiversity festival in Chizami village, where we bring communities from different parts of the state and other states, different tribes, ethnic groups together, and celebrate the diversity that we have, celebrate the kind of forest food that we have, celebrate the kind of the knowledge systems that is attached to it. And it was like the last one was in March 2022, on 9th of March, that we had a biodiversity festival. Unlike this virtual, it's in person, and under the theme of embracing biodiversity and well-being. Here, well-being means the well-being of the forest, the water, the people. So that's something. Now coming to the indigenous food and farming system, we cannot think about indigenous food and farming system until unless we talk about seeds. Seeds as the core of our food. And so when we started this, like some 10 years back, Northeast Network tried to look at the seeds. The seed heritage, saving heritage is already with the community. So, but we have also challenges that, the market seeds have come in, hybrid seeds have come in, which is provided by various players, including the market. So what we try to do is that we try to bring in, share the importance of the seeds and the importance of community seed banks. And that's how we have initiated, women-led some 12 community seed banks. And the aim is as simple as to conserve local seeds varieties and traditional knowledge. Conserve local seeds varieties, okay, there's a repetition, I'm sorry. Realize farmers' rights to food and food sovereignty and easy access to seeds. So this is one work that Northeast Network deeply believes, that if we want to talk about food sovereignty, we have to talk about community seed banks. The seeds should be available with the people, and people should decide what to grow, what to eat, what to produce, what to, even market. The decision should be with the communities. We believe in that the small work that we do needs solidarity. We believe in networks. So we do try to create platforms where people come together and share with each other. People come together and, exchange knowledge, exchange seeds. People also communities come together in under one heart, where different ethnic groups, different indigenous communities cook under one heart, and sharing the food with each other. So it is one strong belief that Nan believes, is that if we want to spread the work, if we want to really strengthen the indigenous food and farming systems, we have to bring people together who are already very strongly in it, who have forgotten and have moved away but needs to come back. And here comes even different stakeholders, policymakers, different media, government agencies, CBOs. So we need to build this network. We need to build solidarity if we want to resist the kind of the current modern agriculture systems, which is controlled by few players all over the world. Then we need to bring together small communities across, not only the region, not only the country, but across the globe, to talk about this, so that we can resist some of the powerful, players which are determining the current global food production system, which is failing deeply. So that is it. And yeah, building a shared future for all life. The journey continues, and each one of us have a role with each other. We have to have these principles embedded in all our work: respect, dignity, compassion, love, within ourselves, within the people, with life outside, in the wild, the forest, the rivers. We are all part of the solution. And I would like, if there is time, Joe to play a video, like a short video clip on the few points that I have shared, if there is time.
Hey,
All right. Well, thank you so much for that. I really enjoyed that video. I think particularly those scenes at the end with the youth, with what look like some of the elders in the community, so that knowledge being passed on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's so important. We're losing so much traditional knowledge. This is something that's obviously very, very close to you as an educator. Do you find the youth are really interested in this knowledge?
We really have to make them feel the place,
Yeah,
the heartbeat of the forest, the land. Because even the education system that we try to impart on the young generation is something that in the classroom. And until unless we bring in all these aspects in the curriculum of education, it's difficult. But there is hope if we create a system where we bring in young people. I have seen in the past 6 years that young people coming in different batches. They come on the first day and was wondering what they are up to, but on the seventh day when they are to leave the place, they could really, we can really see the change. So I think it's worth investing, and we have to really, if we want to change, the future now and also the future tomorrow, which is sustainable.
absolutely. And I know you were an educator. Are these the very reasons that influenced your choice to enter into this world of food security and livelihood and women's rights?
Yes, as a teacher also, but me being, I am a farmer myself, a passionate farmer. I do very small farming, but I've been born and brought up in a farming family, a small family, farm. And I have grown with that. And I also, when I started in community engagement, especially with women, started working on health. And we cannot talk about health if we forget about the aspect of nutrition. If we cannot really talk about health if we forget about the aspect of the environment that we live. So it's everything. But I'm a passionate farmer, born and brought up in a farming family community, and yeah, that's something that has contributed definitely as an educator also.
Yeah. Well, the food in the videos and the pictures you shared looks absolutely amazing. The colors, the richness of the food. Is it uh, completely organic? Is there any use of pesticides, or do you use natural ways to keep the pests away?
The local food that comes from the rural communities, those are organic. But as I'm saying that, the rich food culture has been, especially the farmlands are turned into, monoculture, cash crops. So a lot of dependence is now on the market food. So when the market food comes in from outside the state, then it's not even outside the state, even from other districts of the state. People have started using pesticides and all. But in the rural communities, a lot of us are still, keeping it chemical free.
Excellent.
And our food is also, like from different sources. We depend on livestock also. We depend on forest. We depend on, the farm food.
Yeah. Well, Seno, I know, when you and I first had a chat, you were being very modest. You weren't sure if this was a great fit for the festival because, we're talking to a lot of scientists and biologists and conservationists around the world. But what you're doing is so important for biodiversity.
Thank you.
We have fields. I'm just thinking of North America, so much monoculture, and the impact that has on biodiversity.
Yeah.
The types of food that you're using that can be heat resistant and drought resistant and things like that are so important with the changing planet that we have right
Yes.
now. And
Yes.
when people feel stable and secure and have a livelihood, then they're less likely to take too much from nature, to put too much stress on the environment. So the work you're doing is 100% preserving of biodiversity, and making sure that people are able to thrive where they live, without having to hurt the ecosystem too much.
Yes. Yes. Important because agrobiodiversity can be the answer to climate crisis, can be the answer to food, insecurity that has been, the concerns of the globe, not only in my part of the region, but also across the globe. And the consumption, the production and consumption pattern is very important that we really have to relook at it and start doing in our own small ways because if we want to have a future, we have to act now, and that can be through small work that all of us are doing.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to share the link here, to the Northeast Network, northeastnetwork.org. I encourage
Yes,
everyone to go, and to take a look and find out more about the program. It's getting late here in Canada, but I'm actually
yeah,
kind of hungry now after seeing some of that fresh food. I love the music, that was in the video as well. And like I said, it's so great to see youth being engaged and learning traditional knowledge. We always think about, loss of ecosystem, loss of species. We don't always talk about loss of culture, loss of language, and how we're losing languages, and
yeah.
culture around the world. So great to see that effort being made to keep that, culture alive in the next generation.
Thank you, thank
All right.
you.
All
Yeah,
right. Well, we'll have a great weekend, Sano. It's World Biodiversity Day for you already. It will be
yes,
for us soon. It was
yeah.
such a pleasure to have you join us this year.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for staying up late to listen. Thank
Uh,
you.
no problem. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.